This really nice girl, Marie. I think she was into football. Well, I was talking about football to her. You know, whether she thinks Man City have slipped up, Tottenham's chances, stuff like that. She seemed pretty interested. So that was nice. And to be fair, I was mainly the brunt of the jokes, and fair enough, you know, if that's my role, I'll take it. As long as I'm involved. Do not leave me out.
I mean, obviously you tried pretty hard to sign a striker in the summer, but do you look at it now and feel like, I'm not sure if we need one because of the extra fluidity you have with Phil or whoever plays in that position?
Sky, I'm going to tell you something.
Oh, really?
Arrive one day we're going to lose a game, so you're going to ask me if I miss the striker. I bet you whatever you want.
Well, I suppose me or someone.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't buy this question. I'm sorry. They are an incredible team.
What makes them so good?
It's Chelsea.
I know.
Hello, welcome back to We Are the South Stand. Today I am joined by basically the Mancunian way. You ask one, you get the lot.
You're welcome.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Take it over, mate. Deal with it.
Oh. I mean, listen, if we want to do on-screen politics, I've noticed with yesterday's 10:30 show, you bastard.
We've always been live on a Wednesday, you bastard.
Look, he's ready to fire straight back. Nibble.
Hey, Martin, guess what?
Oh,
I even said I'm on the Mancunian way.
In the room.
I'm on the Mancunian way. Mancunian way. I said to him.
He can't even. He's lived in Australia so long he can't pronounce Mancunian way. Question for you: if Soups, how does it go? If a wood. Quick. If a
You're
wood.
gonna start doing the woodpecker.
If a wood. What is it? How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? No? Me neither. Right then. Before the show even started, the debates nearly started. In fact, no, let me take that back. How is everyone? Martin, how are you this morning?
I'm very well. How are you?
I am very good, thank you. And by the way, yesterday it was lovely because I got to have a lie-in. I didn't have to get up to do a show. So actually, every Wednesday, at 10:30, Mancunian way, please. Yes, yeah, fucking win. And to Pat, to Alan, and to Nick, how are you guys this evening?
Thanks,
mate. Thank you.
Yeah. It is nice to see Nick make a show though, because he never makes ours.
Yeah,
He
busy
plays
boy.
football on Wednesdays.
Yeah, his granddad told you. Right, we were about to start debating off air, and we are going to have another debate. But the first one is, it's come out this morning. I actually haven't seen it yet. That Eddie is staying. However, he's not signing a new contract yet. How do we feel?
Can I go first?
This is going to divide the fan base, I think.
Go on now.
I'm just going on mute while we do a 20-minute bloody James Trafford debate.
Oh, God.
No. We'll start on James Trafford afterwards. Firstly,
no.
Go on, Alan. How do you feel about Eddie signing?
Can you have Rule Britannia playing in the background then when he talks?
So hold on. Off air, someone said he's not signing a new contract, but now someone's saying he's getting an improved contract.
He's been offered one. He hasn't signed it yet.
He's been offered a few.
Right.
Until he signs a contract, he's not committed to the club. So until he does that, he can go for me.
See, this is where this
is how football works. Alan.
Straight of that, bro. So was De Bruyne not committed to the club last season?
Well, mate, until he signs a contract, deal's not done.
Oh, no. De Bruyne was still under contract last season. Was he committed to the club?
Yeah, but
okay. So Ederson still has a contract for the next season. So why is he not committed to the club?
I don't want him to go for free on a free. He doesn't deserve that.
But De Bruyne went on a free.
Bernardo's going on a free.
Aguero went on a free. Vinny went on a free. Yaya went on a free. David Silva went on a free. And Ederson will have done. Hold on. And Ederson will have done 9, right? Will have done 9. So what's the difference? What is the difference?
He's not retiring. So I'll sod off.
Neither was Vinny, neither was David Silva, neither was Yaya Toure, neither was Aguero. None of them retired.
Don't care.
All right, so it's fine for all of those. Neither was De Bruyne. So it's fine for all of those to leave on a free after 10, but it's not fine for Ederson to leave on a free after 9. Why?
No.
Why? No, why?
One of our juniors, yes, Trafford. He's allowed
No. We're not moving on. No, we're not moving on. No, Alan, we're not moving on to James Trafford.
I don't care.
We're not moving on.
He's in this.
He can cool down.
Thank you,
Alan. So, why is everyone else allowed to leave on a free, but if Eddie does it, no, he's not committed? Why?
He's not committed to us.
Name.
He's staying to wind down his contract. That's what he's doing. No, it's
a
business. It's a business.
But hold on. That's what you could say. That's what a lot of the others did.
Hang on. How old's Ederson?
I think he's 30, 31.
Right, he's got another 5-6 years left.
This is mental. Literally, one rule for everyone else and a different rule for Ederson.
I'm not happy.
Are you ever happy?
No, I am happy. If he signs a contract, I'll be happy. And he deserves it. He does deserve a rise as well.
Yeah, he does. But I just don't get with this whole he's not committed, because if he's staying for another season, he's committing to us because he could go this summer.
Personally, if I'm being honest, I think the only issue around him leaving next summer as opposed to this summer is I feel like we have identified that kind of backup goalkeeper, be it Diogo Costa. Does he want to wait around a season, or is he going to end up going somewhere else? I think that's the only thing I'm really concerned about. In terms of him leaving for free, I couldn't care less. He's been here long enough that we'll well and truly have paid off kind of whatever we bought him for and things like that. So I'm not overly concerned about getting money for him. It's more whether or not we get the right keeper the following summer, and if he's still around. I don't know if you guys feel the same.
Yeah, the thing with Costa is his messages seem to be so damn mixed because I've seen he's happy to stay. He only wants City, right? Yep. And he's happy to wait out. I've seen that. But then at the same time, I've also seen him come out and say he's definitely going this summer. So
and United, yeah.
Well, and then there's United sniffing, but I mean, has anyone seen like James Trafford news? Is because someone put James Trafford to United, here we go. But
I thought it was very much Newcastle were negotiating and almost a done deal, I think.
I have seen United started looking at him, but I think at the moment United seem to be being linked with pretty much every goalkeeper.
Yeah.
If he goes to Man United, you will see a run. You will see me very angry.
Who?
He's not
James
coming
Trafford.
to City out of the way, Alan.
He's not coming to City.
Not coming to City out of the way. Jesus.
You're right, Al. Alan.
Brexit FC.
I was gonna do what? So I've just noticed this music below that you can play in the background.
Yeah, I've been telling Martin. I said anytime Alan goes Brexit FC, just play that distorted version of Rule Britannia over the top.
You right
cut him off.
Alan, are you okay?
I'm not happy.
What's up, Alan? Talk to us.
Come on.
No. Okay, but I think for me, if we're talking about Ederson, I'm well happy because I think at the moment, if like none of us seem to be too clear on who we want. No one seems to be too clear on the right goalkeeper. And with all the changes we've got, I think with the changes at right back, potentially, with the changes at left back, I think to keep him is a good thing for another season, right?
I'm saying, if he signs, I'll be happy. Until he signs, I'm like that.
But if he doesn't sign, are you going to have a meltdown, Alan?
I won't be fucking happy.
Why?
It's one more season.
Not showing any commitment, mate.
For fuck's sake.
Sorry, Alan. In his interview, he did come out and say that he only wants to play for us next season. He's very focused on playing with us next season.
Okay.
So hang on a minute. Are you going to say the same with Bernardo Silva when he trots off on a free next summer?
Well, he wants to go back to Benfica, I know that.
No, no, stop. No,
so
let's
that's
not
fine.
do that, Alan.
This is mental.
Bernardo's a legend to me. I love everyone will tell you.
So, all right, Bernardo and Ederson have both been at the club for the same amount of time, right? I'm even trying to think of the whole Brexit Allen thing, and no, because Bernardo and Ederson, one's Brazilian, one's Portuguese, same thing. So that it can't be that neither. So what is it? Like, let me ask you, when Aguero went into his last season of his contract, were you going, I'm not happy, he's not committed?
He wasn't fit though, was he? Let's be honest.
All right, cool. When Vinny was going into the last season of his contract, were you saying the same thing?
We didn't know till he was crying.
All right, cool. When David Silva... No, but this is a whole thing. You can't say we didn't know. Because in that case... I tried with
David Silva.
No, not when he left. I'm saying when he goes into his last season of his contract. Because you're saying going into the last season of his contract, you're not happy if Ederson doesn't sign a new one.
So he's only 31. He's got years left. That's why I'm unhappy.
But I was going to say, Dabs, jumping in there, it's obvious it's one of those things we tend to let players leave for free when they're kind of obviously at the back end of their career. They're not going to realistically a direct rival or whatnot. And even by then, I actually probably see it as we're doing them a slight favour. They get to go and collect a massive sign-on bonus somewhere else. Obviously, that's a big thing in football nowadays. It'd be different, Alan, if he was 24, 25 years old, kind of in the peak of his career, like kind of a Trent, for example, and just dips off to Madrid for free.
How long does he for a keeper? You tend to stay around.
Yeah, but he's. I think it's been kind of widely known that he's not the most ambitious person. That he's won everything, mate. He's entitled to just go and cash in somewhere else and live it up for a few years.
It's just the way, Alan, look, for me, it's one of those things with City that we've always done this kind of, I say 8, because Gundogan wasn't here for 10 years, right?
Yep.
When he went. Gundogan, I think, was 8 years or maybe 9 years, and he was allowed to go on a free. It's just a thing that City do. When your contract runs up and you've served the club, and I guess... In a business term, it's called sweating your asset and getting the most out of your asset. We have got the most out of Ederson. If we manage to get one more season out of him, that's 9 seasons out of him, countless Premier Leagues, a Champions League, everything he's done for us, right? While also taking pelters from the fan base at times. If he goes on a free, right, then what's the issue? What is the issue?
I'll throw one to Alan. If Ederson stays and leaves on a free next season, but we sign a right back, would you be okay with that?
Well, right back.
Why are we having to do a bargain?
I don't know if his attitude changes.
Nick, it doesn't matter. This is not about a right back. This is not even about Ederson.
This is about James Trafford.
This is about Trafford.
Yeah, it's about Trafford.
I love Trafford. End of.
Alan, what you don't
and that's being taken out on Ederson, for fuck's sake.
What you don't understand is, Alan, what you don't understand is Trafford's not coming whether Ederson's staying or going.
So you've made Daps cry, jeez.
I don't know what more you want, Alan. Alan, you can't get in, I demand Trafford
I want Trafford. I do want him.
Ederson's a better goalie though than him.
Do you want Trafford over Ederson as well?
Yeah.
No.
Fucking hell, bro, this is mental. I mean, I was on your side. I was on your side with the Trafford debate. I was trying, but over Ederson.
See what we have to deal with over here, Dabs?
Yeah, but this adds a whole different thing. I'm out. I'm getting rid of the slides.
You only get this once a week. We get it every day. No.
Yeah, that's mental.
No, big up Alan. Alan's one of them. You want him pissing in the castle rather than pissing out the castle.
But no, for me, it's a good thing. I definitely think with getting potentially 2 new fullbacks, having the same keeper that's comfortable with the ball at his feet, because potentially it's going to be the first time they're playing a Pep system. I think it's a win, and we do get to get a bit more of a sample size of what keeper we actually want to go for.
Contract, I'm happy either way. That was my thing with me. I want him to sign an extension. I wouldn't like him to go on a free because the thing is, I agree with you. All our frees, they serve the purpose. They go. But the trouble is, this is why if we allow Ederson, Bernardo, and somebody else to go on a free, I know it's going to be hit back in the academy somewhere. So you're going to end up losing someone out the academy for big money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where City get the money from.
Sorry, just on this one, I don't know what type of shows you usually watch, Shex, G-Unit, G-Unit, but it's a debate show. We're just having a debate with Alan. He's brought his opinion to the table. We've got different opinions, so we're just pressing down on him. I'm
not falling out with anybody.
Yeah,
it's an opinion that I've got that I do like James Trafford a lot.
What you have to
I don't like anyone
Alan
who
has
says George.
Alan has this remarkable gift of falling out and getting
No. So
and resolving everything within 15 minutes.
That's what we did last night, Pat. I think this tournament's Mickey Mouse. I told you last night. I don't rate it. I think it's just a pre-season where you take it a lot more seriously than I do. That's fine. I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry, hang on.
I mean, you're wrong. But
can you just put JM?
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Can you put that on? What channel? What channel?
Alan speaks much sense. Check out his channel. It's very good.
What channel?
The Mancunian Way. It was a good plug. By the way, hey, Martin, have you noticed, by the way, do you like the overlay?
Yes, very nice. But can I just say, it's everyone's channel. I agree with that. But Taps, it's named above the door where my name's on it. I get the liability shit put back in my court. So no chance. In fact, no, Alan, yes, the net channel's going in your name, mate. Liability's all yours. Right, so a couple of super chats real quick. First, no, we'll come to this one later. Appreciate the super chat, Anthony. We will come to that a bit later. While we're talking on keepers, though, Abdullah has said Eddie is staying means Diogo Costa going to the Rags. I mean, it means ultimately Diogo Costa or James Trafford might end up at Man United, but also so might Emi Martinez. So might. I'm sure they're probably linked with a few others until there's something concrete.
Absolutely everyone.
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I could see Diogo Costa willing to stay at City for another season rather than joining Man United right now.
Stay at Porto.
Stay at Porto. Sorry, who did I say?
I think the possibility. You said stay at City, but I think if Costa decides to stay at Porto for another year, I think that gives us more of an opportunity of getting him in if Ederson leaves.
Yeah.
We might think give it another year, and maybe Porto will be willing to wipe another 10, 15 million off the price that they're trying to get now.
Yeah, I agree. I think the fact that he has come out previously and said he wants to go to City, I think he would be willing to stay at Porto for another season, give City a bit longer to kind of get everything in place, and also it means that we can spend the rest of this transfer window looking at other positions, looking at right backs, and not having to. Well,
I had a message last night, Daps, on the old Magic Watch. Incoming dad done at the moment.
incomings are completely done until 4 or 5 are gone.
Yeah, I have zero doubt on that. I think right back is a thing, but I think I said yesterday, I think Pep's probably dodging Viana's calls because Viana probably wants Pep to tell him who he wants out of the squad.
Yeah, there isn't any more now. I wouldn't. I think you'll get a right back at best.
I think we'll get right back, me.
I think they're happy. I think from what I understand, they're happy to go with what they've got at the moment.
Yeah, I still think we get a right back.
Yeah,
I still think we get a right back. I don't know. Did you see the comments apparently from Pep? Well, not from Pep. That apparently, and it came out from Jack Vaughan, who's quite reliable. That Pep's kind of not so sure about Núñez at right back. If that is the case, then I'm sorry. I think this Livramento thing's got legs. I think Livramento's going to end up at City. I really do. The more I think about it, the more I think about the statements made by Newcastle, the statements made by Livramento. They're not foolproof enough for me to be that he ain't being sold.
It's also just not going away.
What are you two laughing about?
So you see the comment that Pat's put up, twat. Yeah.
Is this JMCFC an ITK or something?
I'm not sure.
Is that Craig Party Time's burner? Is that Craig Party Time's burner?
So Alan would have already won the race to 10k subs, but it'd be in the negative.
Yeah.
Enjoy your dark fruits there, Fossil.
Yeah, I'm on Ribena.
On the dark fruits.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's got the dog and duck in his living room.
While we are talking on this super chat, Martin? Do you think Livramento's still got legs, or forget what you've heard? Forget what you've heard for a second.
That's what I'm doing.
Off what you've seen.
What I've seen, yes, but I think the price would do us. I don't see us going to that price. What Newcastle want?
You don't think?
No. I don't think it's desperate enough to get to that level of money.
Really? That's a bit stinky. I think
the big unknown is what we don't know what.
Do you know the problem is that I think because he's got a Kanja, Stones, because one thing I did get told was Kushinoff and Hayes have done shadow training at right back in the last few sessions.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So that's what I'm saying. I think they're looking at other ways of.
Hold on, have you not seen the regular comment? Kushinoff's not a right back.
Yeah, I know everyone will go crazy. And the trouble is, like, people are saying, it's such a difficult one because if it's not Livramento, they can't buy anybody else. Because the problem is they're full at the foreign contingent now.
I mean, they can. Jed Spence.
You stay out of my space.
Marks and Spence.
Anyway,
right back.
Who's been giving him the again?
No,
you're not awake at 1 a.m. to know about Jed Spence.
Me? Yeah. I'm not, bro. I've been saying Jed Spence for weeks. I've been saying Jed Spence for me.
You want Tottenham's backup?
I'm not saying I want Livramento.
Dan Levy will want more money. Dan Levy will want more money for Jed Spence than what Newcastle want for Livramento.
See, this is the thing because
I don't think
this is where the great debate is going to go to: who's staying and who's going, right? Because I do think at the moment there seems to be it's difficult. I would imagine Pep wants to make a decision, but there's things happening that are making it more difficult. As example, the Kovacic injury, that made that a little bit more difficult because maybe Kovacic might have been one of the ones that he wanted to see go out the door. Or not see. I don't think Pep wants to see anyone go, but Kovacic maybe was one he'd be willing to let go. That injury has made it, okay, well, it can't be him. John Stones coming out and saying, I don't want to go, right, makes it a bit difficult because John Stones is sat there on 250 or 300k a week. And if other teams aren't willing to buy him, that then makes that a bit more difficult.
Which is why I've always said I think he'll just see out the end of his contract.
Yeah.
Gundogan also mentioned something about wanting to kind of stay and thinks he's feeling great and all of that kind of stuff as well. So I think it's a bit of a case of players kind of almost trying to how do you say it? Use the media to try and persuade certain people to keep them at the club as well.
Yeah. But JMC, the difference is between people wanting to stay and Kevin De Bruyne wanting to stay is when you're talking about Gundogan, when you're talking about anyone at Manchester City right now saying they want to stay this summer, they all have contracts, right? So they can stay. Kevin De Bruyne did not have a contract. His contract was up. So if City didn't give him a new contract, he couldn't stay. City can do nothing but rip up and pay John Stones' contract if they want to get rid of him, right? They can't force someone to buy him, and they can't force him to rip up his own contract. So that's the difference. And that's where, like, when we say players we want to go, we can all say players we want to go. I mean, the club clearly want Jack Grealish to go. But if no one comes in... If no one comes in for Jack Grealish, well, I think we worked out the cost before to rip up Jack Grealish's contract or terminate his contract would cost the club, what, about 30 million? Maybe
Same
even more.
That. We said this the other day. It's not going to be the club. And listen, I think the club are going to eat up the majority of Walker's contract. I think they'll allow that one to happen. But I don't think Stones and Grealish are very different. I think it's like the Gundo one. I know Galatasaray are very much interested, but Gundo's come out and said don't want to leave. But I think Gundo will be the one that will go. But I'm not sure. Not sure anybody else. I mean, for God's sake, I've said this today. Calvin Phillips, you haven't even got out the door yet.
No. I mean, look, I do think so. With obviously Never a Foul, we have to try and come up with stories every single day, right? And this isn't just about City. This is about all clubs. And we're struggling at the moment because it seems to be this 1st of January thing. Everyone's waiting until the 1st of January to start really making moves. Once you see 1 or 2 moves start on the 1st of January, then you'll start seeing the domino effect. I do think Leeds will come in. 1st of July. 1st of July. So I do think Leeds will probably come in for Calvin Phillips. I think City will...
And Birmingham.
Birmingham as well, yeah?
I don't think Leeds can't do the wages. Birmingham will have a big splash for the championship. They want to make a go of it.
They're too much championship wages, though, aren't they, Martin? So I reckon Birmingham. I reckon City will probably chew up half his contract.
I think it'll be another loan. I think it'll be a loan with an option to buy.
But Gundo, I think with Gundo, I honestly think Gundogan would be happy to stay, but at the same time, if the right club from Turkey come in for him, he'll go as well. And I see this, don't want to lie, I don't like this Super Jack leaving talk. It's not talk. He's gone. Like, there's nothing, you might not like it, I might not like it, Alan might not like it, Pat, Nick and Martin might not like it. We might want Jack Grealish to stay and be given a chance, but last season in a depleted squad, Jack Grealish was barely given any chances. So it's not even, he's not at the Club World Cup right now.
Has anyone had a chat with him yet about from other clubs I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think quite a few clubs. I think
give me 5 minutes, I'll get him on the blower.
Yeah.
We got his number from you, Alan. What are you on about?
Yeah.
Hold on. Hello, Jack, mate. Yeah, my good pal Alan from Australia wants to talk to you. No, I dare me, old mucker. What do you want, Alan?
I don't like talking to that. I don't like talking to that pig.
Sorry, bear with me. I'm just having a bevy. Yeah, what do you want, Alan? I'm in Ibiza. I'm off my tits.
McAtee, yeah. There's another one. Jesus.
Right. So let's make a quick. I'm going to make a list on my phone, right, of players that we think we're going to get rid of, right? So, and players not only that we think we're going to get rid of, but players that we're going to be able to get rid of. I think Jack Grealish, I think we're going to get rid of, right? And I think we'll be able to get rid of him.
Me and Nick tried to do this the other day on the phone, didn't we, Nick? We're 25 minutes in and we still didn't know where we were going.
Legit, yeah.
So no bids have come in for any of our players, Pete, but this is what I'm trying to say at the moment. It does seem to be in the world of Premier League football. Obviously, you had that first transfer window where pretty much City, Liverpool, and I think Chelsea got one, but a few teams did stuff. But everything is being lined up from the 1st of July. It's a new financial year, and then I would imagine a lot of offers are going to start flying around. But until then...
and England under 21s are in the final, aren't they, too? So in terms of McAtee, you probably won't hear anything at least until that tournament's over.
I think the under 21s tournament's doing McAtee the world of good as far as there's going to be people out there. I mean, there already are people out there that want McAtee.
He's captain, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah.
He's and they're through to the final. He's played well, so there's not going to be any issues with that. But what's the consensus? I think we do get offered enough money for Grealish. I think Grealish goes, and I think we will get money for him.
Yeah,
I think we'll get more than the book value for him, which is meant to be like something about 33 million. I think we could easily try and push for 40 plus.
Yeah,
and that contract is an albatross, so he's got to be willing to take the cut.
Yeah,
I think people will buy Jack. It's whether it's the problem with the wages. If we have to put our hand in our pocket and pay it out for 2 more years, that's the problem.
Well, we won't be paying the full amount. We'll be paying probably 100, 150 grand of it, I reckon. Depends on who it is. You never know. If it was someone like, I think there's certain clubs that I think if Aston Villa were to come in for him, I think Aston Villa they could pay. I think Aston Villa or Newcastle, if it's either of those two, I think they'll pay a fair whack of his. They won't pay the full 300, but I reckon they'd probably pay 200 of it.
Villa were paying pretty much all of Rashford's wages.
There we go. And they have got that off. So, and I'll keep saying it. Grealish back to Villa is commercially a great deal for Villa. Because the shirt sales will fly through the absolute. Him going back to Villa, that's a story in itself. So it will sell. Martin, you seemed a bit quiet on the Grealish front.
Sorry, I was banning that idiot.
Oh, okay.
He's been popping at Alan for 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
You'll understand when you read him because he was
cool.
very personal.
Cool.
The Jack. I can see Grealish going, but more later on in the window.
But you do see, ultimately, I mean in this window, I do
see him going, yes.
Grealish will go, Right, cool. So we got Grealish down. The next one, McAtee. Are we all in agreement that we'll get something for McAtee as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There'll be clubs interested.
They go to Germany.
I think there's so many options for him. I think McAtee. I actually think on those two straight away, McAtee and Grealish. I think on both of them, they'll end up with multiple options, right?
Yeah. Can we put Walker and Phillips both? Just put those both down. They're gone.
Walker. I mean, anyone seen anything on Walker? I've seen Walker's got back with his missus, by the way, at last.
Yeah,
so,
Everton. Has he not verbally agreed to go to Everton?
I think Galatasaray.
I've seen that. Galatasaray seems to get linked with everyone.
Was it Galatasaray and Fenerbahce? I can't remember. Either way,
the trouble is with Everton, they seem to get an agreement, and then because they do this a lot, but I've seen it. They seem to get really a bit twitchy on wages when they sit down with the wages. Well, surely these clubs know the wages before they're going in, or they have an idea of wages.
Do you know what?
Funny you say that about Everton with wages, because for the last few years, despite all their struggles, they've had some of the highest wage bills of any of the clubs in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But I was listening to.
That was that previous owner, wasn't it? That previous owner was.
A little bit. Everton seemed to be okay for money. Now
so how many have we got on the list? 4.
We got 4 so far. Sorry, just on this comment, because I've seen this recently. I'd keep McAtee, can't have Palmer 2.0, and I've also seen.
He's turned the contract down, so.
But I've also seen someone say to me as well, we must keep Rico Lewis. We can't have Palmer 2.0, right? We need to get over this PTSD, right? We really do need to get over. If we look at over the last 6-7 years, yes, we've sold some young, talented players that have gone to different places and done well, right? However, during that period, we've also done a 4-peat, right? We now have a squad. Everyone wants us to go out and buy a new right back, buy a new winger. But we bought Reinders, buy all these players. We can't, hold on one second, Alan. We can't keep hold of every single academy player. We have to be realistic. If we want to be a team that rely heavily on our academy, we have to drop our expectations, right? Because you and someone will go, oh, well, Barcelona had the youngest ever. Cool. You can come up with these one or two little narratives where younger teams go and blitz a league, right? But not in the Premier League. Stop talking about other leagues. Tell me in the Premier League where a young team has come in with abundance of academy players and won it. And by the way, I'm quite happy to go to the academy thing, but I don't want to see people moaning about wanting to buy 100 players while also wanting every single half-decent academy player to be given 100 games a season, because it's just not feasible. Go on, Mr. Allen. Go on.
I think the case for the Rico scenario, Rico and Nunez, one of them will go. If we get a right fullback and sign someone, one of those players will go.
Sorry, see, yeah, 90s United would be an example, to be fair. I agree with you on that. But it's not the 90s now, right? That's 30 years ago, okay? 30 years ago. I don't know if you've noticed, football's changed quite a bit.
I feel old.
Quite a bit since
now
then.
I feel really old.
Oh, it's the truth, bro. It is. It was 30 years ago. I mean, even if you go
25.
I
can picture Main Road like I was there the other day. You know what I mean? It starts weird.
Yeah. And for me at the moment, McAtee, I feel McAtee has had 2 seasons in the Premier League with other teams. Is that right?
Yeah, Sheffield United.
And then he's had a season at City where, if we're being honest with you, he contributed.
That's about this about the other day. I'm sure it was you. I don't even know where O'Reilly's going at the minute.
This is a thing. Like, who do we think is more of a prospect? Because we can't fit all of these academy players in while wanting, like I said, we can, but we won't be competing for the Premier League and the Champions League. Yeah, you have to lower expectations. Like McAtee, if we're being honest with you, he's not good enough for where we expect Manchester City to be. Now,
he'd be the third or fourth choice in our team in the attacking midfield.
Yeah, this is it as well. He's 23. McAtee's not 18 or 19. He's 23 years old. Let's talk about real prospects, right? Whether we talk City or whether we talk other clubs. Let's start with City. Foden. At what age was Foden really cementing his place in the City team? 20? Yeah. 20? 21? Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Again, if you go and look at, Rico Lewis is only 20 now still, right? You could go to other clubs. You could talk about Rooney. When Rooney came through, he was 16 years old, right? Saka at Arsenal. Even if we talk about Pedri, what age was Pedri? McAtee is 23 years old, right? There's an abundance. There's a massive difference here. Even Palmer was still doing more than McAtee at what, an age of 20, 21, 22? So I don't know, man. With McAtee, will he go elsewhere and will he ball? Yeah, probably. But do we keep hold of him then?
Yeah, you can't stockpile players.
There's
no point. You need them. Again, the academy's full profit as well, so you've got to take advantage of that and make money where you can.
So we're saying Walker's going, and we're all confident that we'll get a buyer for Walker at the price he's going for. Even if he has to drop down to Championship, I think Walker will be gone. Are we saying the same with Phillips?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, they're the easy ones. Then we move on. Defence. Let's start with the defence. Who's going? Because we've got 7 centre backs.
I'll throw 2 names. Personally, I do believe Stones goes as much as he probably doesn't want to. I think realistically, there's got to be. It looks like Victor Hayes is probably most likely going to stay along with Kushinov. And I'd be personally open to that because you need to blood the youth and get some games under them. And with Stones sticking around, I just think Pep's. We all know what Pep's like, mate. He'll throw just his trusted, proven players into those positions ahead of those kids.
And then disagree with that, Alan. Did you say disagree?
Yeah, I disagree with Stones.
Yeah,
I don't think you can sell Walker, Phillips, Grealish, McAtee, and Stones.
Oh, it's they're all English.
Let me guess, leadership.
No, they're all English.
You're basically dead on your own, bro. You're totally dead on your own, bro. And then you're screwed in the Champions League.
Well, I think we've already shot ourselves in the foot, to be honest, by making all of these kind of foreign signings.
Hold on, but we've shot ourselves in the foot, but we've got bandages, right? If you get rid of Stones, Phillips, Walker, all the players you just listed, you've got rid of your bandages. So at the moment, we have shot ourselves in the foot, but we've got bandages to make sure we don't bleed out. You get rid of them, we're bleeding out.
Which is why I think Stones will stay, Nick, because it's not just the arbitrage of the contract they'll keep him around, because I don't think teams will be wanting to exercise that money.
Yeah.
It's also the fact that the quota is skeleton means that they may just have to keep. It's a combination of the contract and the quota.
Can I say something a bit controversial?
That will probably keep him there. That's it.
This may come across very controversial, and I'm going to put a big if at the front of this line. A very big if, because I know what will come back. If John Stones is fit, I think he's one of the better centre-backs we've got in the whole
Agreed.
He's the best.
Still agree.
He's the best.
It's probably the best.
Why is everyone so keen on...
Yeah.
With 12 months left, why can't you manage it?
So my whole thing with John Stones is, firstly, getting the wage off the book based on how many games a season recently he's been contributing is very relevant, right? But he ticks the homegrown quota, right? And the other thing is, I would say with John Stones is, John Stones, when he comes back and when he is fit, it's not a case of you put him in and, you know, he might be a bit iffy. You put him in, he gives you a good performance, right?
Yeah, he does.
I was just going to throw in there. So if we've obviously got 6 or 7 centre backs, who goes then? Because I don't think you can't keep all of them.
I don't think anybody goes.
You can't have that many players. You'll end up with unhappy players.
We've got to get rid of players.
Tough. I think that's where we're at.
Hold on. You think we keep all 7 centre backs?
Chance.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Right, okay.
Victor Hayes.
Sorry.
Victor Hayes is, for me, he could go out low.
Hang on,
Pep said he wants to keep him. Yeah, 7
Radio,
centre-backs. There's 7 centre-backs.
Stones, Akanji.
Just think of our 5 and then put the 2 we
Diaz, Kusanov.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That's what I mean. It's especially if we do eventually bring in a right back, and this is the thing. Yeah.
Even on the left, we've brought in. So the difference between now and last season is that not only have we got the 5 that we usually have, plus we brought in 2 more. We've also brought in a left back, right? Which now means that who is our second choice left back? Is it Ake? Is it Vardiel?
Yeah.
Is it
O'Reilly?
Or is it O'Reilly?
Yeah. And then right back as well. You bring in a proper right back. What happens with Nunes, Lewis, Akanji?
Nunes has got to go. It's Nunes makes it not on grow.
To be honest, I would not be surprised.
Absolute bullshit. Nunes. That's not your reason with Nunes at all.
Nice
try, Alan. That's not your reason with Nunes.
Gabs, I think at the moment O'Reilly is ahead of Ake in terms of the left back.
I agree with you.
Hear me out. The reason being is because for the same reason why Guardiola's moved back to centre back.
I agree with you, bro. 100% agree with you.
I don't think it's right putting Ake at left back or playing left back role when he's coming back from a couple of really serious injuries.
Yeah. I agree with you.
He has to play centre back. So for that reason, I'd be more inclined to put Nico O'Reilly there when he has to rotate with when we need someone to rotate with Nouri.
I just think based on what you just said there, I think the other reason is if we look at the last we look at the Club World Cup, yeah. So we've gone to the Club World Cup with all the players that we are talking about. We have seen Nathan Ake start at centre back, while Nico O'Reilly starts at left back, right? So that tells us that Ake is currently being viewed as a centre back, and O'Reilly is being viewed as a left back. Same with on the right hand side. At the moment, we've seen Vitor Hayes and Kusanov played as centre backs, and we've seen Rico Lewis and Nunes played as right backs. So at this point, Pep's shown us who he's considering left and right backs, and he's shown us who's considered centre backs. And once again, we get back to the same thing that we have 7 centre-backs. Away from the left and right side, there are 7 centre-backs.
I hear you, Martin, especially on the Stones, obviously wanting to keep Stones for the homegrown. Does that make a possible move for a Kanji? Like a sale for a Kanji possible? But then Pep loves a Kanji, so you can't win. You can't win.
I don't know why.
This is why Pep's avoiding Viana. He don't want to answer it.
Yeah, he don't want to answer. There was a rumour I got the other day, and it was like I told you from the US. It was out the US media of Kushinov on loan somewhere.
See, right, out of the two, let me be clear. I would much if
and I wouldn't do that, by the way.
Me neither.
That'd really annoy me. But we have got the trouble is Stones is the one, but then you can't lose Grealish, McAtee, and everyone else, and then go into Europe and go, oh right, where's the homegrown? Well, we just got rid of them all. Sorry.
I mean, he's got a valid point here. It's just, I personally, you know what?
You're going to start Martin up because he was all ticked off about it.
So was I, because I personally think, right, that might have been the point where Pep had enough, because Pep's been very, very, very patient with John Stones. But there was a point last season where John Stones had been out for quite a while. And remember, this is a period where we needed players back, right? Because we had a lot of injuries. We had players playing through injuries. John Stones had been injured. And then just in time for the England squad, he came back and he was fit for it and he went. And I thought at the time, I can imagine Pep looking at that and going, all right, fair enough. I'm not going to say nothing, but fair enough. Your cards are marked here. You've made your choice.
I agree. I totally agree. But everyone just said we've got a homegrown issue, and we've all sold the homegrown guys.
Does
the
anyone think
Champions League is a lot stringier?
I don't think I'm with you. I don't think John Stones goes. I don't think he goes. Whether he should be the one that goes,
then it could be a Kanja. Is it Ake?
I think he can. No, because Ake's homegrown.
Ake's homegrown as well.
No, Ake can't. Jesus Christ.
That's what I mean. I think even
Akanji seems horrible because we can make a profit out of him.
That would be my shout. If you could sell Akanji, make some profit. But I think even if you went into the season with 6 centre backs, I think that's still too many. I think 5's probably the ideal number. 6 is still one too many, I think, personally.
I'll be honest with you. For me, if I had to pick 2 right now, mine would be Akanji and it would be loan out Vitor Hayes. That would be me.
My only worry with that, Nick, and I hear what you're saying is, one injury, you were then relying on 2 very young, inexperienced centre-backs going into the core seasons.
Yeah, but I don't think, again, it's very much like if, buts and maybes. Obviously, last season's kind of, again, a bit of...
So would you trust Victor Hayes at the Bernabeu? Hand on heart, and you're going, right, there you go.
Again, it's one of those, mate. You can't have 7 players sitting in 2 positions. I
agree.
The big factor, though, is never mind the numbers, it's the experience of the numbers.
Yeah, but Rico Lewis came in and played right back at the Bernabeu like last season. Eventually,
now everyone wants to sell him, Nick.
Yeah, but you're going to have to play players in tough games, man. If those are the circumstances.
Well, then what we've got to do, Nick, is then you're going to do that, fine. But then, like Dap said, you've got to lower the expectations down then.
Yeah, but you can't have that many. It's one of those ones where, you need some kid in the team.
One of the proposed fullbacks, i.e. either Nunez or Rico, will go if we sign a right fullback. One of them.
Yeah. I agree on that. Hold on. Let's just deal with the centre backs for a second before we move on to your next agenda, right? Nick, are you saying you want to keep Vitor Hayes, don't you?
Yeah, I want to keep Victor Hayes.
No, hold on. The way you answered that was like, yeah, because I want to keep all 7 ideally, but out of the 7, he would not be one of yours that you'd get rid of, would you?
From what I've seen, and again, small sample size, I think Martin and I discussed this the other day. Kushinov, it's almost like he's a bit too aggressive sometimes and doesn't know when to.
He needs more discipline in his game, doesn't he, Nick?
Victor Hayes seems a lot more composed, a lot more aware of his surroundings.
Over Kusanov.
Yep. Personally, I would, but again, it's each to their own.
You know, if Kuznetsov goes out on loan, he's never playing for City. He came from an okay level of football in Europe, right? What would loaning him out benefit? Whereas Vitor Hayes, we have not seen play at that level in Europe yet. Whereas with Kuznetsov, we have, right? Kuznetsov, and Kuznetov's a bit older. I think if Kuznetsov goes out on loan, we're not seeing him at City. We're not going to bring him back, especially with Juma Bar sniffing around.
Yeah, look, you've signed these three top centre backs. Potentially one doesn't make it. As rough as that sounds, or has to buy their time. Yeah. So again, just from what I've seen, I like watching Victor Hayes a bit more. I know Kushnov's aggressive and he just clatters players for fun, but Victor Hayes just kind of has that composure on the ball.
I'm not going to lie to you. Kuznatov's composure on the ball is mental as well. Kuznatov's composure on the ball is quality. I actually think, right, if it wasn't for the homegrown thing, I think this would be very easy. I think it would be John Stones and either Ake or Akanji would be the two going out, right? But because of the homegrown thing, it changes it all. Because Vardy and Diaz, they're parked in, they're locked in, they stayed fit for most season. Diaz had a few injuries, but they were fine last season. I do think the injuries to players last season, Pep be thinking now, we can't go into another season with that. The other one that Pep's thinking about playing at centre-back.
Phil Foden has to play the central defender, he would play the central defender.
Really?
Yes, really.
Hey, I didn't let it finish. Right. So I guess we can't come to an agreement on who the two centre-backs that we want to get rid of are.
No.
I'm with for me, right, my first vote, Akanji. Anyone else want to put a hand up for Akanji?
I've been absolutely murdered for saying Akanji for the longest time.
Come on.
Absolutely murdered. So.
High five me on it. Akanji?
Yeah, done. We're in.
Right. Any of you three on Akanji? No, okay.
Are we in a gun to your head situation? You have to sell one.
Yeah,
you have to sell two.
Sell two.
No, I'll take the bullet.
Fuck it. What, you're keeping all seven?
We have to, yeah.
Well, the
problem I have is, and it's a big question that's been hampering us for many, many years now, and you remember, Daps, all the panel here and a lot of the chat remember, how many years did we go with, I'm just going to say it, fuck all depth at centre-back. Once Vinny had an injury, what did we have? We were relying on people like Mangala and Demichelis to get us through bloody 90 minutes every game. So I prefer to have as much depth as possible at centre-back in a way. And you also got a combination of, you've got your first two, which is, if your first two choices are going to be Guardiola and Diaz. If you take any of Ake, Akanji, and Stones out of the equation, then the gap in experience and age is huge when you drop down to Vitor Hayes and you drop down to Kuznetsov. You need a bit of a bridge between the two of those as well. And if we intend to be competing on all four fronts for as long as we can, and given we are the best team in the world when it comes to playing every 3 days, we have the best manager in the world for playing every 3 days, you're going to need that absolute rotation in every part of the pitch. I want two or three players competing for every position on that pitch. So that's why I think it's important to absolutely bolster your strengths at centre back and have those as well. The other problem I have as well too, sorry, and I'll land in a second, is I don't understand why we're having this Vitor Hayes and this Kuznetsov loan talk 6 months after we just signed them.
Because hold on, Pat. Let me explain why. Yeah, and Martin, Martin or anyone else might be able to help me out here, right? But what I'm trying to work out is, what size is your squad that you have to register?
20. Well, you can register up to 25. 17 foreign, 17 foreign max, up to 8 homegrown over the age of 21 from January this year.
I think the reason why we're having this conversation is because we currently have 7 centre-backs, right? You don't want to get rid of Akanji. You don't want to get rid of Stones. You don't want to get rid of Ake. You don't want to get rid of Vardy. You don't want to get rid of Diaz. That's why we're now going, okay, well, maybe the 2 players that we bought only 6 months ago might have to be loaned out. Because if you want to keep the other 5, And again, if we can keep 7 and that doesn't impact our squad anywhere else in the team, like it doesn't mean that we're going to be able to register less midfielders. I'm with you. I don't care how big the squad is. But if we have to, which from what I'm being told, we're going to have to trim this squad down. I think Pep said it himself. This squad needs trimming down. If we're saying straight away, right, we're not trimming down any of the 7 centre-backs, we're going to be trimming down in other areas.
I'll throw one as well, Pat. I think going into the season, last season, for example, if we had 7 centre-backs, I'd almost be okay with it in the sense that we were playing pretty much a centre-back at left-back, a centre-back at right-back, and obviously being a lot more defensive. I think if we're going into this season, say we've got Ait Nouri locked in at left-back, say you go get a right-back, and then you look at right-back and you go, well, we've got, for example, a Livramento, a Nunes, a Rico, and then at centre-back, you've got 7 players fighting for 2 spots. It's just...
Yeah.
Just ask a question. That's a great. Is Reyes count because he's 19?
No.
Right, so he doesn't need to be registered in the squad at all.
Years. No, he doesn't have to be registered, and he can't be homegrown because you've got to be 3 years.
Hold on. Let me be clear on that one more time. So when we're saying the squad can have 25 registered players, Vitor Hayes does not need to be registered, no?
No.
Right, okay, cool. Are there any others that we can put in that bracket?
But it's not about being registered. It's also about then it keeps him still.
Yeah. Ignore that. That's a Pep thing. We can get over the Pep thing, right? We can't get over the registry thing. Are there any others that fall in that bracket with Vitor Hayes?
Close it off in there. 123.
Echeverri.
Because if there's a few that fall in that bracket, that helps us out to get over this first phase of how to pick the squad.
All right. He's young, isn't he?
All right, let's leave centre backs because again, I guess ultimately we don't need to come to an answer on this show because we ain't doing it, right? It's just a debate. So then, because I saw someone say, but some of the people we're listing of the 7 centre backs actually can play in right or left back positions. Cool. So let's leave the centre back thing and move to left backs. Are we saying the left backs are O'Reilly, Ait Nouri, with Vardiel and Ake as well?
Yeah.
Yep.
Which of those? Vardiel and Ake for an absolute pinch.
So, again, Ait Nouri ain't going nowhere. Do we see Nico O'Reilly no longer being seen as a left back, or do we see him going out on loan? Is there a world where Nico O'Reilly goes out on loan?
I wouldn't like to see it, but I think after what he did last season, I don't think they'll send him out on loan. I think he'll be that kind of left-back understudy.
And he'll play
I think Nick, I agree. I think this season's going to be the biggest test for Nico O'Reilly's development as a player, because I've said it on our previous McCuney away shows, Daps. I think the biggest test for him now is after having, given his age, a rather successful season at City, like he really showed his talent at a young age and things like that. Now the big test for him is he going to be able to step his game up to the point of where he's going to be able to try and get as much game time while knowing that there's new signings coming in. There's going to be other players who are going to be trying to, knock him down a peg or two. So I think this is a big test for him in terms of developing his career. Do I think he'll stay this season? I think so. I think anything that he does at this club at this age is a learning curve. But I think if we're having this conversation same time next year, and we find out he's only had about the same amount of minutes as he did last season, then no, I think he'll sooner or later he'll have to go. But I think he's at that age right now where anything he does at this club is nothing but a learning curve, and it's only going to help him.
Agreed. I think left back there won't be too many changes.
Okay.
I think right back inside.
Nick, with him having a career at City, I think it is a case of where you can actually allow yourself to kick the can down the road, because everything right now is a learning experience for him.
Yeah, so just to ask on Kuzanov again, sorry, because I'm just making a note of this so I can see what size our actual squad is, right? Vitor Hayes, we don't need to register. Kuzanov, do we need to register him because of his age?
No, next year.
Right, perfect. Thank you.
So he's got a year.
Same with O'Reilly, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Same with same with Rico Lewis.
Yep.
Same with Echeverri.
Sure, Rico's 21 now. We're over 21.
Is it 23 the rule?
Someone said 23. Is it 23 or 21?
What about Savio and Bob? How old are they?
For UEFA.
Nah, let's just deal with Premier League for now, Martin. Fucking hell. The Premier League.
Just to let you know, Rayan Ait Nouri is not homegrown. That's what I've just been looking at.
Yeah, he's a French national.
Homegrown, we're buggered if you're selling
Algerian French.
If you're selling everyone we're saying, we're going to have 2 homegrown players left in the squad.
Well, at the moment, we ain't sold no one. No one can come to an agreement with himself.
So I don't think you're getting rid of everyone you're all thinking you're getting rid of here.
Right, then, let's move into mid. So, ultimately, at this point, am I right in saying Hayes, Hudsonoff, O'Reilly, Lewis, and Echeverri, none of those need to be registered?
No.
Correct.
Perfect, right. So then, okay, let's move into midfield.
Right back.
Are we all in agreement? Right back, Rico Lewis at this point, we don't need to get rid of because he's under 23. Nunes, I'm personally not. I mean, Alan, go on your round.
Rico has asked for a meeting though upon return.
Has he?
Yes.
Yeah.
He wants to know what is. The problem is, it's all right going. Rico and O'Reilly are happy to sit on a bench, are they? We're playing guessing games here on that.
Yeah, it's McAtee all over again. It's McAtee 12 months ago.
Yeah.
You're at Palmer and McAtee again, and then we'll go.
They are younger though. They are younger. The only difference is, and I was thinking exactly the same. Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis is still only 20.
Oh,
I will say this: if we sign a right fullback, Nunes or Rico, one of those will go.
I was just going to touch on Nunes. I think, Martin, you've probably heard it as well as I have, probably from the same person, that there is interest in Nunes and he wants to play in his preferred position, which is midfield.
What, at City?
No.
No, do you know why I think he would? Because when we can go back to the World Cup, and I don't think Nunes thinks he's going to be playing right back for Portugal. Right, and he probably does want to be in that Portugal squad, which would then mean, I mean, this is him. Right, let's move on to midfielders. Rodri, are we all in agreement? We need to loan out Rodri.
Yeah,
no.
I was just going to sell straight away.
Yeah,
just sell, get rid.
Yeah, send him to Melbourne City. Loaning the Melbourne City. They need someone to defend their title.
I reckon we could get. What do you reckon? I reckon we could get 20, maybe 25 for Rodri if we're lucky. Right, no, so we're definitely keeping Rodri.
Get 30 for Calvin.
Gonzalez, have any of you lot got any questions on Gonzalez? As in, would you cash in on him?
No.
Not cash in, but I have my concerns with him as a player.
Okay.
I just don't think he's been that tidy when he's been on the pitch.
So if Rodri goes down injury, they're fucked if you don't have him.
No. I agree. I'm just saying I don't think.
I mean, technically, he didn't really come in and cover for Rodri much. So
no,
he wasn't meant to be honest.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have that kind of feeling about Nico G? That he's got
Pep,
an error or two in his game?
Maybe Pep.
Yeah.
I mean, you maybe. Hold on, is that a wig you've got on there, Nick? You bald genius. Look, my thing with Nico Gonzalez, I said this yesterday, is I had somebody say on the stream yesterday that Nico Gonzalez is better than Gundogan, right? And Nico Gonzalez is better than Bernardo, and Nico Gonzalez is better than Kovacic. And my response was, look, I want to see Nico Gonzalez get game time next season. And his response was, it's 2025. You really going to tell me they're better than Nico Gonzalez? I said, I don't know, because I haven't seen enough of Nico Gonzalez to actually make that judgment. And that is where I am with him. I'm not like, I like the idea. I've seen little bits of his game that I really, really like. And I do think a midfield of Nico Gonzalez, Rodri and Reinders next season could be very fucking good.
I've seen both sides for me. That I've seen, bits of his game I love, and I've also seen bits of the game that I'm like sloppy as them.
Exactly the same.
There has been, but is it not fair to say that first season in the Premier League?
No, I'm not selling it. No, you're not selling it.
And when you look at, I mean, let's go back to Rodri's first season in the Premier League. There was very sloppy bits of Rodri's game the first season in the Premier League. I think with that.
It's not even being sloppy. It's just I feel like he has that like one major error every game where it leads to an almost a guaranteed shot on target. The other day was prime example. He was the one that lost the ball in the middle of the park and pretty much caused that. Who was it? Did Ederson make a save?
The only thing I'll say in his defence was he was asked to play the lone 6 role.
Yeah.
And that's not his job. It doesn't take much for him to get ambushed. If he gets ambushed, we're screwed.
That won't be happening against
that's on
Juventus.
Pep more than anyone,
And that won't happen against Juventus. Against Juventus, we'll probably have a pivot.
Alan's got his hand up.
Go on now.
I will say this. When he came in to City last year, when we didn't have Rodri on that period, when he came in, the performances of the team improved because he got the system right. When he was playing, the system improved.
But I'll be honest with you. I agree with you and the proof is in the pudding. Of the back end of the season from February through to May, we were the most informed team in the Premier League. However, he was not playing all the games. We also looked good when it was a pivot of Kovacic and Gundogan, right? So it wasn't just Gonzalez. Whatever happened that second half of the season, we improved. It wasn't just there's this narrative, it was just when Gonzalez, it wasn't, because we wouldn't have got Champions League football if it was just when Gonzalez was there. I really like the balance of Gonzalez, Rodri and Reinders.
Absolutely, I do as well.
We haven't even had a chance to see Nico and Rodri together, but I think when we do, it was something that we talked about when we signed him in January. It was something to look forward to for next season.
Whoa, what are you doing with Reinders here?
Yeah.
No, I just said, hold on, Martin, it was a 3. We were saying a three of Reinders. Let's be clear. There's going to be games where we're going to be gung ho, fucking probably play. I don't know, maybe a Rodri Reinders, whether it be a Reinders.
Oh no, I agree.
There will be games where we sit with 3, and it might also be that Bernardo's part of those. So let's do the midfielders, right? So for me, Rodri stays. Gonzalez stays, right?
Yep.
Reinders 100% stays.
Nah, loan him.
Now we get to the interesting ones. Bernardo.
Yeah, he stays.
He's staying, buddy captain.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
This is captain's armband, and while you're at it, this is captain's armband, and while you're at it, Viana's waiting for you in that other room.
Hold on, just before we speak about Kovacic. Before we speak about Kovacic, Gundo, and Bernardo, I've got 3 guests waiting backstage that I want to bring in just to spice it up a little bit for this segment while we talk on the uncles. Kels, Patrick, and Hamza. Nah, not really.
Hamza, box office. Come on, bring him on.
Not really. I'm joking. I was just checking Martin's reaction because that would get
no, because I'm checking whether that's. You see that guy in the chat, Tone City till I die, whether that's Tone?
Don't know. Tone, is it Tone or is it
He's
Tone?
not speaking like Tone in the world because, Sorry, carry on. Sorry,
Sorry, Tone. Martin doesn't like your tone.
Well, we're on some subject.
No, because I'm WhatsApping with him at the same time and I'm having 2 separate conversations.
Right, so let's just... So the 2 for me that I think, Gundogan and Kovacic... Gundogan and Kovacic, what do we think? Keep?
Ideally, if I'm being honest, this is so hard. I'd love Gundo to stay, but I think it's time for him to move on.
Thanks for the clarification, Tone. Jesus, I didn't need that much detail, mate. But
I'm really confused here. So listen, are we right? I think Gundo goes.
I could see a world where they both leave. Kovacic injury is the one that throws a real spanner in the works, I think.
Yeah. But what do we reckon? Overall consensus, 5 of us, Gundogan. Gone?
Yeah.
Right. Now, Martin and Patrick. Kovacic.
I think he goes in January.
I think I said this yesterday, January. So you think we keep him for now?
For now, yeah.
But you like said to LB yesterday, the Turkish window's open later, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So you think he goes later? Right, cool.
And the news
do I think he's going to go long term? Yes, 100%.
Nah, but I'm just thinking from a squad point of view. That would make sense. I think that could make sense. I think if Kovacic didn't get the injury, he'd be gone. So that makes sense to me. Right. Who else am I missing here?
O'Reilly, have you got as a midfielder?
No, I've done O'Reilly because O'Reilly and Lewis are under 21. Under 20, yeah, they're under 21. Right, Foden. We're keeping Foden, right?
Yeah.
This is where Daft Ducky pops up and says loan out Foden. Right, so Foden we keep.
I still think we've got so many midfielders, just counting.
Nah, that's not too many.
If you move on, Kovacic, Gundo, for example, you've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 midfielders.
Right, but you're classing Foden as a midfielder.
Foden and Cherki, I'd
Foden and Cherki playing that more advanced three.
Yeah, I'd still count them as you can still play them as part of a midfield three.
I don't think six midfielders is too many neither.
Do you know what I think you're going to end up doing? I think Cherki will be on the right, Mamouche on the left, Haaland in the middle, and Foden behind.
Yeah, agreed. Right, so then we move on to, so we've said Foden. Right, Savio Doku.
Bye-bye.
Well, both of them?
Yeah, both will stay.
Alan, you want to get rid of both?
One's going to go.
No, hold on, Alan. Both or keep?
One of them's going to go.
Right, which one?
Toss the coin.
It's not, because one of them's younger, and one of them's...
Because that's how Biana does all his business, yeah.
Tosses a coin. Well, hold on. Savio, do we have to register Savio? With his age? Perfect.
Doku, go.
Well, in that case, hold on. I'm going to do the numbers here. Let's say we keep Doku for now.
Why?
Why? Because I think Doku deserves one more season. I actually think Doku does deserve one more season.
Is this his third season?
No shit, Sherlock. Yeah, that's why I think he deserves one more season. I think he's got better every season. He's been here too.
Blue shirt for a change?
Yeah, we can. Actually, he got an assist that probably got us Champions League football. Can Haaland make a near run for the change? Near post run? Or are we just going to blame... Or are we just going to... Right, exactly. Sergio would have made a near post run. So are we blaming Doku, or also are we blaming people not making the right runs? If you get rid of Doku, Alan, I presume you want a replacement.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So that's kind of irrelevant because we're talking squad size right now. So it doesn't matter.
What is the squad size? What have we got?
Hold on. I'm going to add it all up, then we can go through it. So Doku, Marmouche we keep.
Yeah.
Cherki we're keeping. Haaland.
Bobb?
That is it. Bobb. Yeah, Bobb. Bobb's a great one. Bobb. We keeping Bobb?
Yeah.
We loaning Bobb?
100%. He's our best wide player.
Bobb, do we have to register, Martin, age-wise?
No.
Be getting close.
Yes, I think he's 22. Let me just double check.
Nah. Yeah, check him.
Oscar Bobb is...
What's the real 21 or 23?
21 on the 12th of July. So he's 22. Yes, you'll need to register him.
Right, cool.
He's homegrown as well.
Cool. I'm you know what, homegrown's a whole different show, but squad size, right. So
good luck with that minefield.
So this is the way I'm seeing it. I'm seeing that we are selling, and anyone, if I miss any names of players here, please pull me up. I'm saying we're getting rid of Grealish, we're getting rid of McAtee, we're getting rid of Walker, we're getting rid of Phillips, we're getting rid of Gundo, we're getting rid of Kovacic. So we're getting 6 players are leaving, right? We do not have to register because of age for now. Vitor Hayes, Kuzanov, O'Reilly, Lewis, Echeverri, and Savio, right? Which then means
I've go up next year.
Yeah, that means our squad is. I'm going to list the players first, then I'll count it. Ederson. In fact, no, I'll list them first. Ederson, Ortega, and what's his name? Well, I was going to say the Chelsea guy.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Either
so
or.
right. Ake, Vardio, Diaz, Stones, Akanji, Ait Nouri, Nunez. Right. Rodri, Gonzalez, Reinders, Bernardo, Foden, Doku, Marmoush, Cherki, Haaland, Bobb. Have I missed anyone?
No.
Right, so that squad is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
And how many have you not registered?
And I've not registered 6.
So there you are, you're at 26.
Yeah, but you just told me I don't have to register the 6.
No, it's not about that. It's not about registration.
So ultimately, people, we
so 26. Yeah, as long as you get rid of those, you're spot on. How many are foreign?
Of those, foreign are Ederson, Ortega, Vardio, Diaz, Akanji. Sorry, Ederson, Ortega, Vardio, Diaz, Akanji, Ait Nouri, Nunez, Rodri, Gonzalez, Reinders, that's 10, Bernardo, Doku, Marmoush, Cherki, Haaland, 15.
No, you're all right. Yeah, that's spot on them.
Boom! Just like that. We're done. We're done, Pep. Get Pep and Viana on the blower. We fucking solved it thanks to Mancunian. And guess what? What makes it even better is we bring in Livramento and we sell Nunez. We got an extra homegrowner there. But we just smashed it like that. Where's Pep? Hold on. Pep
Nunez. Truck driver's going.
Pep told us this was difficult. Nah, mate, piece of piss.
Someone's put, what about Rodrygo? Oh, getting Rodrygo.
Yeah, what about Rodrygo?
What is happening with that? I can't see that happening. I really can't.
I mean, there is 20, right, so ultimately there's 26 there, and there is a question of game time, of course. But, I mean...
Game time.
Say this as it is. 1 minute, Alan. I'm going to say this as it is. Let's stop pussyfooting around this. If they're good enough, they play. We need to, with a squad that big, it has to be on form.
Yeah, agreed.
But we also
can't be on form.
I'm going to show. I can't believe we've managed to find a way to keep all 7 centre backs.
Make the players fight it out amongst themselves. Make them fight.
We also have to appreciate, not appreciate is probably the wrong word, but we also have to accept then if players come and ask to leave, then we've got to deal with that.
Yeah. I don't want to do. I'm not doing a show in 6 months. He's asked to leave. Why?
Yeah.
You know why. Don't even be moaning about it.
But you know what? I'm even going to throw Livramento in here. Then we've got a squad of 21 plus 6 that aren't registered. Perfect. Absolutely perfect, right? Right, anything else we need to talk about? Now we've sold fucking... Basically, which came first?
What's with your fascination with Real Britannia?
No, not on this channel, mate. Not on this channel.
Do I have to play it again?
I'm getting rid of the competition, Pat. Come on.
Do you want me to rap anyone? Lift a mood a bit?
No, we don't.
Alan, what was your question that you had?
Do you agree that Doku will have to go if we get Rodrygo?
Well, of course he would, but we can get Rodrygo.
Doku or Sabio.
For Rodrygo to happen, Alan, a lot of things have to just sort of fall into our lap.
Yeah, I agree.
It wouldn't be our pursuit. It would be about Madrid. Would just rather offload.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And City have come out and said
they may still want to. Like, I still think the big thing in Madrid is they need to bolster their ranks at centre back. And if there is talk about them trying to go for Saliba, then I think maybe getting Rodrygo out the door would certainly help with that.
Yeah.
Look, let me be clear. If I can get Rodrygo over Doku, I'm taking Rodrygo over Doku every day of
the week. He improves
every day of the week. But I can't see it happening. I really can't see it happening.
I can't either.
I can't see it. I do think the only thing I think that does maybe swing it a little bit is I do think Rodrygo probably does want a move, right? Because Mbappe didn't even start the other day, and he still didn't get to see any grass, right? So I do think Rodrygo is pushing. And by the way, if he's pushing for a move to the Premier League, I'll be honest with you, go and grab him to stop Arsenal from getting him, right? And also to improve us. But I don't know. I just can't see it. I'd love it. I still would rather we go and get Livramento before we start doing any sort of business for a winger.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think there's anyone that would love Rodrygo at City more than I would, but I think it's one of those weird ones where it hasn't gone away, if that makes sense. Like
yeah.
Every couple of weeks there seems to be another kind of link that keeps popping.
Smell still lingers, basically.
Yeah, it's definitely just a bit of a weird one that I kind of thought would be completely squashed by now, but
yeah. Fuck's sake. You know when
you wonder though, because Rodrygo's got to look at his place in the team, and Mbappe ain't going anywhere, Vinny ain't going anywhere, and then you've got Argentinian there coming through. What's the other guy's been playing up front for them in the World Cup? That Gonzalo Garcia or something, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
You got him as well. You've got don't forget Endrick as well, which they spent a lot of time and resources on.
That new kid they just signed from River Plate.
Oh, Mastantuono, yeah, as well. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. I watched some of the River Plate games. Yeah.
One of the things as well is it's interesting. Someone said to me the other day, "Well, Rodrygo wouldn't get into City's team."
That's mental.
I think that's mental as well. I think realistically,
he gets into any Premier League team. Simple as that.
Yeah. Who do you think he'd start over in our team?
I
think he starts ahead of.
I think it's hard. Look, the thing is that when we do this, who does he start over? Right. That's as if we have a best 11 and that it's the same 11, right? It's that the league never works out like that. There's injuries, there's different teams, but is he like the way I've always looked at it at City is we probably have a 15 that are our best 15, right? Yep. And would Rodrygo be in our best 15 100%, man? Like
also I think he's a player that'd back himself to almost get in ahead of almost any of those kind of front three, front four players.
Right. Here's a conversation is, and we're probably going to do recency bias on it, but who is better, Marmoush or Rodrygo?
I'm taking Rodrygo just because he's done it on the biggest stage so far. He's also younger than Marmoush. He's also younger than Marmoush.
I think Marmoush is the better player right now, just given the run of form that he's been on for over 12 months, basically.
I think we're chasing name there. We're chasing the name of Rodrygo more than we're doing what fits the system.
We're falling in the FIFA-verse again. Marmoush.
Let's be honest. Let's be straight here. Marmoush was the best player in the Bundesliga last season.
Yeah, and he came to the Premier League. I
just struggling to get 25 GA in 6 months.
And even hold on, but why are we doing that as well? I just saw someone say that he was underwhelming when he joined City. I don't think he was. I think did he have a few games he's a little bit quiet in? Yeah, but I mean one of them he's playing out of position. So I think for a first 3-4 months at a club, I think Marmoush he changed our season. There's no ifs, buts, or maybes about it. He came in and changed our season. Remember, a little reminder, when we played Newcastle United, we were worried we were going to lose that game because Newcastle United were going into that game in damn good form. My man put a hat-trick past them, right?
He also got Premier League goal of the season, by the way.
Yeah.
All league goal of the season.
Yeah. And then, again, also, what was the other game? We scored the goal of the season. Villa. Yeah. At that point, we were looking a bit shaky. So, I don't know, man. I think he's been quality. But I think Rodrygo's world-class as well, so.
He is. And realistically, he probably, again, does he get in ahead of Foden? Does he get in ahead of Cherki? Those are the questions you probably have to ask.
It's not getting ahead of. This is where it's a squad, and we probably have a best 15, 16, and it will be rotated about because there will be injuries. Rodrygo will probably get injured at some point.
Yeah.
So,
and he'd probably back himself to start in that team anyway.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's back to Martin's point, isn't it? The players have got to perform. Whoever's performing gets in. And if the players don't perform because you've got better players,
great point.
The Foden's gone out of form again. We've got players to just do the business.
But listen, however much I'm so happy that Foden has come in and, he seems to look like a different person, we can't act like 1 or 2 good games from Foden. I'll do it as banter go, he's back, but we have to take our time and let it one game at a time with Foden.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, no, the whole thing is, if me personally now, especially hearing Ederson staying, one more signing, Livramento. Go and get me Livramento, right? But after that, if we then want to go and get rid of Doku and bring in Rodrygo, I am all the way for it. I still would rather get a right back than go to another winger, though.
Can I just because this is what baffles me about this. Why do people want Rodrygo? And people better not throw me the GA nonsense.
He's a better inside
not
forward.
Throw me GA because Rodrygo is not a GA guy.
Martin, if you're going to say that we're going to play this formation where we don't play out and out wingers, I think personally Rodrygo as an inside forward is a better option than Doku.
But he's not a goal scorer.
I disagree, but he's kind of been pushed out.
Stats to that, he got 6.
Yeah, but Martin, you also have to factor in that Vinny, Mbappe, and
GA merchant.
No, I'm not being a GA. No, this is what. No, I'm not. No, I'm not doing GA. That's because I don't do GA. No, I'll explain why I don't do GA.
Oh, you make me sick.
Do you know what makes me laugh?
You've changed. You used to be cool.
Of Doku and Savio because of their GA.
And Grealish.
And then you turn around and chuck me at Rodrygo. Mamouche blows Rodrygo out of the water on GA. Blows him out of the water.
Fair point.
So, do you want Tim, Martin, or not? Be honest,
no, this is what I mean. Can we stop the GA stuff? This is why I hate GA. Because
you brought it up.
No, I'm using it as my point. 2 ears, listen, sunshine. The point I'm making is
I don't do much of that.
Can't chuck Savio and Doku under the bus with G&A and then do it because
do you think he's a better fit for this new formation though, Martin?
He wasn't a
good point. Good point, Nick.
Do you think he's a better fit for this new formation then, Martin? Would be the
Mamouche or Rodrygo, yeah.
No. But I'm saying in terms of Doku, if you're saying Doku and Savio output, take that aside. Who's a better fit for this system, Rodrygo or Doku? Again, you're not Rodrygo or Doku.
Hey,
I don't think Doku and Savio because I think it'll be Mamouche.
Check out that one.
That's what I'm saying there. I think Mamouche will be the guy on the left.
Each their own.
Wingers do need to bring numbers. I mean,
I don't get
listen.
What's Mamouche done to upset people? He's only been here 6 months.
No, he hasn't upset anyone.
But what I would say now is, I think. I think the thing is, right? Why? What did he do? He's not in his. He's doing his
file. No, I explained it in the comments tabs. Put my comment up and I'll explain it.
Hold on, where is it? Where are it? Where did you comment? There.
No, but when he come back, he's got his hand like.
Your shit, you feathery bastards.
No, Rodrygo is a top player. I know, but I just think some are chasing the name more than the
do you know what? My whole thing is get me Livramento, right? Go and get me Livramento. Go and get that done. And honestly, the conversation about whether Doku or Rodrygo, whether Mamouche or Rodrygo, or whether Bobb or Rodrygo is the most beautiful, comfortable conversation I will ever have. Because I'll be like, I don't give a shit. We've got a fucking left back and we've got a right back. We've got a fucking 8 with energy. We've got a creative fucking midfielder. I am happy. Go and get me Rodrygo if you want. If you don't, we're still going to cook. So... And then I will be like, do you know what? Bring me Rodrygo because I would take Rodrygo over Savio. I would take Rodrygo over Doku. I wouldn't take him over Mamouche because I do believe that Mamouche can be perfect cover for Haaland, right? Yep. As long as Pep realizes that playing Mamouche in that position and not Cherki is a false 9, right? As long as Pep gets over that, we're there. Now, we have a game today. Let's just talk on that quickly. Do we expect to see, because this is a team that we stink against, and correct me if I'm wrong, we lost to Juventus in the Champions League this season.
We lost
to them in December, right? So this is a bit of a, how far have we come since that fucking stinky period?
Really? Because when was the last time we beat them?
Hold on. Forget the beating them. This is a case of we can look at. Actually, hold on. When did we play Juventus?
was like December. Was when we were in our worst.
December.
We drew against them in 2010. We drew against 2010 in Turin because I was there.
Right, no. Who was it we played at the start of this season in the Champions League and we drew with at home?
Inter.
Thank you. That was it. Yeah, it was
when we
Inter.
debuted the Oasis.
Yeah. Right, so I do think that away from whether we win or lose, I think this game, because this game is some might say a must-win game, right? It's not a must-win, but to get us on the easiest side of the group, it's a must-win.
Just jumping in, Daps. I got to take off. I'll chat to you boys later.
Appreciate you coming.
See you, lads.
Hey, Nick. Take care, mate.
Do we see ourselves going with a full-strength team?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
The only one I can't decide
on whether
Rodri starts or whether Nico G plays.
Yeah, I can't see Rodri starting after what he said the other day.
See, I've already got my 11. My 11 is very simple. Ederson, Nunez, Gabardio, Diaz, Ait Nouri, Nico G or Rodri, whichever one he wants to do. Reinders, Foden, Cherki on the right, Mamouche on the left, Haaland up top.
So you're going with the...
I'm going with it.
You're going with... Because for me, obviously, minus Rodri, because I think Rodri is... I don't think he'll start Rodri yet. I think
go put Nico G in there then. Yeah, she's 6.
So you're saying Nico G, Reinders and Cherki.
Foden. Cherki on the right, Mamouche on the left.
When you find room for Bernardo, because I think Bernardo might have
that's the one I was
covering Nico, because they're going to try and ambush Nico if he's on his own.
What are you going to do?
We play Foden.
You can't play Bernardo, Reinders, and Rodri.
Hold on, I think this.
But then Nico G don't play them. That's going to be intriguing then, because if Nico G doesn't play, then I will start worrying, because Pep's words were he was the backup to Rodri. And if the backup to Rodri's not even on the pitch, when Rodri's not on the pitch.
So I said this earlier on, there's going to be some games where we need a slightly more pragmatic midfield, right? Now, I think Juventus are a good enough team for this to be one where maybe we need a slightly more pragmatic team. Is there a world where he goes with a Reinders, Bernardo, Nico Gonzalez midfield, and then a Mamouche, Haaland, and Foden or Cherki?
Yeah.
Then we've got more of a balanced midfield there.
I think Bernardo will play.
I think Bernardo will play this one. I do. I think if Rodri isn't playing, we might not play Bernardo. But the fact Rodri isn't there,
why?
Because Rodri isn't there.
Right? No. But that's what I'm. So when Rodri, this is what I'm asking, because I'm presuming, because Rodri's going to be fit within 2-3 weeks. I'm thinking further down the line here.
Right, I don't think Bernardo's a start every game player.
That's what I'm saying. Bernardo's got to start.
I'm not here for that. I'm not here. I'm not here on this. Pep will find any fucking way to play Bernardo Silva hype. I'm not on that hype.
Bernardo has to be drip fed out the 11 now.
And right, Martin. So let me ask you, and in fact, let me ask all of you. You guys, do you think now that Bernardo Silva has been named club captain, are any of you lot on this bandwagon that Pep will find a way to play him every game?
No.
I think that's just people.
It's Fernandinho was given the captain's armband, he wasn't playing.
Thank you, bro. That's the perfect example for me.
Had the armband and he was being phased out in his last year.
Yeah. So I think that's a good point. It's going to be hot, so we are going to see rotating as well, which is very true as well. But I don't know. I've said this. I said this yesterday. In fact, people, if you go back through and look at the players, cool. In fact, do you know what? We'll wrap it up here. We've been talking for an hour and a half. Just before you go, Mancunian way, what you got coming?
Live tonight, 7:30 with the watch along.
Nice.
And then we may do I'm probably going to do the proper. Well, we do. Sorry, Pat, before he starts on the hashtag your channel, not mine.
Remember,
because that's where he's going to start.
I see what you mean. And even when someone mentioned Alan's channel earlier on, Martin was very quick to say whose channel.
No, I didn't. I I said, hashtag your channel, you wind-up merchant. No,
Man's
tomorrow.
Go on.
Big one.
Go on, it's your channel.
Not that big. I've lost over 2 stone now, you cheeky little sod. You know, a bit like you've lost all your hair. Anyway.
I shaved it off, thank you very much. Do you know me and LB actually shaved our hair off
I thought you were doing a handstand.
Did we do it together? Were you in
no.
Were you doing it together?
No, we actually didn't.
Does that mean
you know
on a night out? Does that mean a night out if you both lean forward, it's a pair of tits?
Well, you know about tits. What were you doing on Tuesday?
I know
tits
all
out,
about
Jackie?
tits, especially Jackie's tits hanging out the back of that taxi.
Ooh, pause.
And by the way, Boilerman does not mean Jackie.
Well,
no, and then we're going to do the post-match tomorrow on the Waffle Show, which you are more than welcome to come and join, Daps, if you want.
If I am a Friday night, I'm about, so I might do.
Friday day, 12 p.m.
Oh, if Never Fail's not on, that's the only thing. Hey, do you usually go for 2 hours?
Yeah,
I'm not meaning with Jackie. I mean the show, the Waffle Show.
You've been speaking to my missus.
She said no, 2 minutes.
2 hours, bloody hell! You're getting bored after 2 hours, lad. Something's wrong if you're going for 2 hours.
Can you take him off my hands, please?
Right. Anyway, so you have the Waffle Show tomorrow at 12, and you've got the post-match
Waffle Show tomorrow 12. Watch along, followed by a small match reaction
tonight. Perfect.
Yes.
Myself and the Sheikh will be here tonight at 6 p.m. In which we will obviously also see the lineup, so we'll be talking on that. And then myself and Steve will be back tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning for the match reaction. Until then, I am going
Can I
to...
just before you go,
can
I just sound Sheikh? Big up Sheikh. I saw baby, mum, family are all doing very, very well.
Yeah, brilliant.
So big up Sheikh.
Yeah.
And
also...
the reason why I put my Foley shirt up there as well too, 22 years ago today.
Is it?
We lost the line of Cameroon.
Rest in peace, Mark Vivian.
Yeah.
And finally, as well, thoughts and prayers today with all of Shez's family.
Yes.
Funeral is today, so I hope the procession's great. And we will be back at 6 p.m. Until then, I will leave you with the bald genius.
Don't whistle the penalty is incredible. You know that for a long time, and maybe in 4 or 5 years, never complain about the referees and the action. But this action is really incredible. Incredible.